What states are challenging this national emergency, and on what basis are they doing this?
So some of the states we're seeing right now challenge, first of all, is California. California kind of led the charge on this one. And New York, New Jersey, Oregon, and a score of other states are going to be joining them in that challenge. And additionally to those states, you're going to be seeing challenges from groups like the ACLU, some of those kind of activist organizations. And of course, the guy leading this charge is California's Attorney General. He made a lot of arguments. He's made statements to the public. He's sent out some tweets. So he's kind of the one who's leading the push on this particular issue. And the basis they're going to be challenging on is arguing that this is some kind of an unlawful distribution of funds. It's an unlawful action by the president, in the sense that not only is the national emergency, they're going to be able to, in their view, prove that it's actually not a national emergency, but also they're going to argue that the diversion of funds is going to be inappropriate because it's going to get in the way of things like the California National Guard and things of that nature. So that's what the challenge is right now, and that's how it's looking in terms of the arguments they're presenting.
All but one of these states suing has a Democratic governor, except for one of them. So do they really have strong legal cases here, or is it more of a political flex?
I think the cases are going to prove to be pretty difficult. It's not that they haven't presented strong arguments, it's that if you look at the history of these court cases, it seems unlikely that there's going to be too much momentum, because the two things that it seems like are very difficult to challenge in court these days are executive action is one of them, and funding is also pretty difficult. Now, it's going to be difficult to prove exactly what a national emergency is or isn't in court. Now, the thing that's going to help them is that President Trump actually has made comments like, I didn't need to do this. And that's the kind of thing that they're going to bring up in court. The California Attorney General has said he's going to bring that up in court. That's kind of the way that they're going to maybe be able to get a good verdict out of this. But in terms of stopping executive action, there's not a great history of that.
And how could this set a precedent on this issue in the future when we talk about kind of these things?
Yeah,
sorry.
No problem. Something we've been hearing a lot about with regards to this issue is how it's going to happen if there's a Democrat president. So the next time there's a Democrat president, are they going to be able to declare a national emergency on something like gun control and pass a bill on that or divert funding on that? And that's the question that I think the courts are going to really try to settle here. Because if they make a step in defining what constitutes a national emergency or some threshold you have to set, that's going to matter a lot for the next president, especially if it's a different party. That's an issue we're seeing with this national emergency now.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, the House is voting on a bill to try and stop this. Tell us a little bit about that bill and the chance it has of passing.
The bill is basically just a measure to try to block this national emergency and make it law that there will be no national emergency, and that would stop the diverting of those funds. And it looks like it really has little to no chance of passing. I mean, we heard it from the president. It has to get the votes to pass the Senate to become law. Republicans have a majority in the Senate. They're going to need, more than a handful of defections if they're going to pass that through the Senate. And then it would take a veto, and then when he does veto it, it would take 60 votes to break that veto. So this bill seems like it's going to be pretty much dead in the water, as kind of the Democrats in the House flexing their muscles a little bit and saying like, hey, we can push back, we can pass our own bills. But in terms of becoming law, the chances are slim to none.
Definitely a standoff with historical implications.